What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's play Crash Bandicoot Part 6. We are now beginning the N.Brio boss fight. This is the second to last boss fight, or the fifth boss fight out of the 6 bosses that there are. And this one is definitely difficult. You can see he has 9 hit bars, the most of any boss fight in the entire Crash Bandicoot series. Of course, there are some other bosses in later games that will actually have more than Brio, but he has the highest single total. I guess that's a better way to put it. Instead of there is only one phase to the Brio boss fight, there's not multiple. You don't have to fight more than 2 things. You know, you just fight Brio the entire time. So what you have to do is you have to knock out 6 points by jumping on the green blobs, and then he'll turn into this monster, where all you have to do is just jump on his head by jumping on one of these bricks. I do not believe you can actually spin him. All you have to do is just jump on his head, and there you go. You know, not that difficult. I shouldn't have taken damage, to be quite honest, but I kind of missed the jump, and I couldn't quite get on that brick. Pretty easy, pretty simple, especially for a second to last boss fight. It was actually very, very easy. And yeah, you know, there isn't a whole lot more to say. But anyway, so now we are in the the lab. Yeah, I missed the timing on that one. We are in the lab. The final level, I guess you could say that it's the normal level. Alright, the final normal level. There's another there's another level that we can play after this one, but this is the last for the regular kind of levels like this, where they have the boxes and everything like that. But anyway, so, and now this one is definitely pretty difficult because of, as you've noticed, some of these we have to open these doors up with those exclamation crates, and we have to activate some covers for some of the holes, as well as the electricity being thrown back and forth on those little round orbs, or I guess spheres. You have to dodge all that, and as you go along, you know, as you might expect, it is going to get a lot more difficult as you go along, just because of the just give me a second. Oh crap! I mistimed that one. Usually, if you bounce off of a striped bounce crate, before you get done jumping on it, you'll only have about 9 bounces left, or I guess 8 bounces left. And I thought it was 9. I just, you know, I obviously mistimed it. And you can see that this is another lab assistant. And what he will do is, you know, he will have the electricity running through him, and you have to spin him off of the platform, or off the walkway, before he turns in, before he electrocutes you. And the only time you can hit him is when he is not, when the electricity isn't running through him, which is not that difficult to, you know, to time. It's pretty much all it is just timing. You can watch him in the background there. See, he'll have electricity running through him. But now, if you do get caught, it sucks. I have to redo the level now. But if you do get caught on the walkway that he is on, and he has the electricity running through him, he will not. The electricity will not go away. You'll have to jump off of the walkway and then come back onto it for you to be able to make it. And oh, okay. I guess because I didn't complete the bonus round and I didn't complete the level, they will let me run through the bonus round again, which is, you know, nice. I get to show off the end of it, and I'll try not to mess it up this time. But you can just see one of the potential hazards of this level. You can see the green, or the yellow blobs that are similar to the green blobs from the N.Brio boss fight. And now, if you've noticed on some of these walkways, there is a window that you can look out of that shows that it is night. If you remember back in the Brio boss fight, the sun was starting to set, And I thought that was something pretty cool that they added. You know, this kind of gives you a sense of time while you're going through these final levels. You'll only see a huge time change like this only during the Brio boss fight, the lab, and then the other two levels that are the level that's coming up after this one, and then the final boss fight against against the final boss. And you'll still get a sense of time there. But I thought that was just pretty cool that they added that. You know, it's no other level actually gives you a sense of time like that. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll just get to the end of the level here and show it off. I guess I had one more bounce on it, but you know, oh well. But yeah, you know, that's still that's pretty cool. And I'll see if I can get to a window where you can look out and you can see the you know, how it is night. And then once I get into the other level, you'll be able to see that it is night here as well, or there as well. All right, you have to be kind of fast. You can see out the window there that it is night. And you can look just to the left there through those windows and you can see that it's night. With the lab assistants that has the electricity running through them, you have to be kind of quick because they seem to be able to recover after you spin them pretty quickly, and so you have to always be watchful and careful. Whoa, huh. Guess I got the timing right or something. Or crap. That sucks. It's just the thing is that this is such a long level, in that you know that it's kind of difficult to get through. And I guess I'll come back here. We'll try to get a mask. Let me see if there's a place where I can get a mask really quickly. Road to Nowhere, I guess, is a good place because it's got a mask right there at the beginning. And I believe if you just go into the level and then quit, you should still be able to have the mask with you. And I'll try that out now and see if, and hopefully that it works. I don't think that'll work with boss fights though, because if you noticed, if you do have a mask or two masks as you go into that level or into a boss fight, that it will take the masks away from you. It'll give you two masks, you know, as you go into the boss fight, but it will take the masks away from you while you're in there. So there you go. You know, all you have to do is just start a level. I guess I could have went to lights out as well. I didn't think about that until just now. And so yeah, it did look like it has taken the Tana bonus round away from you. So I guess if you don't beat the bonus round and you don't beat the level at the same time, you can, or you just quit the level that bonus round is in, you can replay it, which is pretty good, you know, if you do happen to mess up. But I believe I'm not 100% sure on this. I could just be, you know, mistaken. But I think if you complete the level, and as I said, I was stupid if I would have lost that mask. If you complete the level without completing the bonus round, I don't believe you can actually go back in and finish the bonus round, but I'm not 100% sure on that. This is actually the only bonus round I actually have a whole lot of difficulty on, and so I'm not too familiar with how that actually works, but you know, anyway. They don't. This level does not give you any masks while going through here, so it is definitely suggested that you actually go and get a mask or two masks. Two masks would probably be a lot easier than just one while going through here, especially for this section. I missed the timing again, and I thought about jumping around him the first time, but I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to be able to make it, to be honest, so I didn't try. Golly, really, I thought I could jump over that electricity. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut here so that I can come back to the section where I just died at with the two sets of lightning things and the yellow blob, so I'll be right back. Just give me a second. Alright, so I'm pretty much right back here where I need to be, but as you can see here, I do have 2 masks. I did go through Insanity Beach and grab 2 masks just, because I figured I would need them. And thankfully I didn't need them. Now this is kind of difficult to get the timing right for that back there. It never really seems to work out for me too often while trying to go through there, but thankfully it did. And there you go. You can see some of those spiked pillars that you could see in the Cortex bonus round throughout the lab. And I don't think that the Cortex bonus rounds are actually supposed to be in the lab or anywhere near the lab, but I just figured I'd point that out. But anyway, see, you can see level 30, as I said, of 32 levels that we have not played yet. So as I said, there are I guess 26 levels, the Great Hall here. And I will point out something here with the Great Hall really quickly. As you can see here, we have a gym that we can ride on. Because we do not have all of the gyms, I cannot continue on throughout the entire level, so I'm not gonna try. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip this. You can see here it is night here as well. And this is an interesting level because for this game and for a lot of early Crash games, you could have 2 possible endings. And one would be the true ending, and one would be just like an ending you would get. And that the Great Hall is one of those levels. Now you can see here with Cortex you have 6 hit points, and your goal is to dodge the pink, I guess the purple and the blue energy shots and spin the green ones back at him. As you can see, Cortex Castle seems to be on fire, and you can see it in a little bit more detail here than you could on the map, and the way that he shoots the energy balls will get more complicated as you go along, and you can see the patterns will change. And now you can see here it is turning morning, the time of day here, where the lab and the Great Hall was supposed to be at night, and now this is during the morning. And there you go. It's not that difficult of a boss fight once you learn the patterns for all of the once you learn all the patterns for the energy shots, especially for the last 2 hit points where he starts to shoot a bunch of purple ones really rapidly, then it gets a little bit easier. That makes the boss a lot easier once you learn everything about it. But there you go. That's this is supposed to be the what do you call it? The true ending. And then the Great Hall one is the secondary ending that you could get. But you have to have all the gems, and I will go back through it and I will show that off. Once I get to it, you have to go through the Great Hall to get to Cortex. But there you go. That's the game. This is the credits. Because this is not the true ending, I'm not going to give my overview of it just yet. I'll wait until I do the Great Hall ending to do that. But I will say, so far, really great. The boss, I guess, try to point out a few more things about it. Really, the blue energy shots, especially or the energy spheres, I guess, or energy balls, whatever you want to call them. Once they start moving around, those can be a little bit more difficult because you'll have to learn the pattern of them a lot more, instead of just the ones that would move across the top of the screen and the bottom of the screen. The ones that would move from the bottom to the top, back down to the bottom. Those will be a little bit more difficult. Those and especially you saw me take damage there trying to get past them. Usually you won't take damage with them too often, and it's not really that easy to take damage. But you can see here really quick credits, compared to a lot of Crash games, just because there was a small team. Naughty Dog was a small team back when this game was made, and even with knowing all that, it's still such a very, very well detailed, very beautiful game. I'll talk about that once I get into it. Now you can see here how the what you have to do. You know, this kind of represents the saving. You know, I saved with the gym, yet I still have to go back through the lab. I still have the gym. You know, that's fine, but I have to do the lab. And so with the Tana bonus round, is the same exact thing. You'll still have to go back through the level. You know, the bonus round will be done, but you'll still have to go back through the level. But anyway, so now the only level that I have to do is the Fumbling in the Dark. This is the only level that I have not done yet, and so I will go ahead and do that now. And then in part 7, as I said before, at the end of part 5, I will that will be the level in which I will, or that will be the video in which I go through and do all of the gyms that I haven't gotten to yet for the levels that I needed, you know, the color gyms for. But anyway, so Fumbling in the Dark is definitely a lot harder than Lights Out. Not only does it have more enemies, but it also has more traps, longer. The level's a lot longer than Lights Out as well, and you have to really manage your lights and when you want to use them and when you and everything like that, because these rats, you have to be careful about how you kill them as well, because more often than not, if you spin into a rat, they will actually trigger a mask box that is farther up into the level, making you hit them a lot sooner than you would want to. You can see here you have some more of these swinging blades here, and then you have small platforms like the one that I'm just standing on right here. These will make it a lot more difficult, especially the further on you get to the level. You may want to spin him and try to get to the mask, just because your light usually is fading by now. You know, it's really up to you. If you know the level good enough, and I don't, you know, right offhand, I know certain sections of the level. I know some enemies to hit, some enemies not to hit. Oh crap! Damn it! Some enemies to hit, some enemies not to hit. So that you don't mess up and take damage or get the masks too soon. But you know, you still have to be careful, especially with and like I said, the blades, and not saw blades. I keep wanting to call them saw blades, but just those the swinging blades, you know, are very difficult. You have to be careful with those, like, especially in that section where I took damage. Sometimes you can get lucky and just lose the mask and then fly over the pit so that you can land onto the second one, and then right past that section, I think there's a small section where you'll be in the dark, and then you can you'll be able to get to another mask. But if you've noticed something that I do want to point out, it's not really that helpful, because more often than not, it will actually end up killing or, you know, harming you. But you can see here on the sides of these little hallways, areas where it looks like you can step off onto. Well, you can actually step off onto those areas if you want to, and sometimes it will help, you know, with timing. Maybe if you mess up the timing with a green platform and you're trying to get to one of those orange platforms, you know, that'll definitely help you out. Going through there, you know, and then the green platforms will fall out from underneath your feet if you're not careful, and so that just kind of, you know, that will help you out timing wise. You know, like through here, you could just step off onto one of those side platforms and be able to make it. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I can tell this is already going to be bad. I don't practice Fumbling in the Dark at all, and I'm going to go through Castle Machinery really quickly. I don't practice through Fumbling in the Dark at all. I mean, ever. I try to avoid the level as much as I can. So I'm not too familiar with the level as well as I should be. And I'm not sure, you know, there may not be any penalty to going through the level while the lives are counting down. I normally don't, though, you know, just to make sure that I can get every single life. But And so, I'm not 100% sure of the level. Like with a lot of these levels, I can pretty much go through them fairly easy. I know all of the traps and everything, the placement of the traps, the timing and all that, but I'm not that familiar with fumbling in the dark. With fumbling in the dark. And remember, here, if you were to die and if you come back at the beginning of the level, you won't have a penalty. As long as you start at the beginning of the level, once you die, you'll be just fine. So that's why I'm not leaving to the map and coming back. But so this level is probably, it's not a hard level like Sunset Vista or Toxic Waste. Well, I won't even, just a Slippery Climb and Toxic Waste. They're not Slippery Climb and Sunset Vista. Those are the two hardest levels in this game. Now you have other levels that have that come close to those two levels, like Toxic Waste, like this level, like Jaws of Darkness. Jaws of Darkness, I would say, is closer to being one of the hardest levels in the game, along with Sunset Vista, Slippery Climb. But I wouldn't say it I wouldn't say it's the hardest or the hardest level. This game, or this level, just falls into that category as well. I'm sitting here worried that I'm going to run out of light here in a minute. And now you want to be careful about doing that. I got the light about a second and a half sooner than what I wanted to, and sometimes that's all it takes for you to end up running out of light in a bad area and messing up. You see there, I lost the light a little bit too early. I had to spin into the spider because I wasn't 100% sure with the layout of the walkway that I was on. This is another bad section where you want to be careful. You don't want to kill the hanging spider too soon, just because you're going to run out of light here. Ah, crap. No, I did not need to do that. Yeah, there's nothing I could do through there at all. I had to, because I had messed up and missed the mask too soon. Or I lost the mask, and you can kind of see what would be through here, but I'm just sitting here wasting time, wasting lives, really. I still have to go back through the level either way, so I'm gonna cut it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut here again so that I can be back in that section where I died. So I'll see you in a second. All right. So I will cut out and say, but I apologize really quickly. I did kind of miss the first area where I had lost the mask the first time, but this is about the section where I had died. Oh my goodness. This is the section where I had come back. The section where I died, and I'll just go ahead and show it off again here really quickly. This is the section where I lost the mask the first time, and then I just come through here. Not too difficult, and this is where I started. Oh crap. Okay. Oh, there's a platform there that you can step on, and there you go. That's the level. But sadly, I'm going to, since I've showed off the entire level, I'm going to go ahead and cut until I get to gym. So, I do apologize. I'll be back in a second. Alright, after about, well, the lives will tell you how many tries it was. I don't exactly remember. And I think it was about 4 or 5, maybe 6 tries later. I don't remember exactly. I lost more lives. Maybe I lost 1 extra life than the tries. I don't remember exactly, but I finally got it. I'm definitely gonna say that this level is more frustrating than it is hard. It's not it doesn't invoke terror in you like Sunset Vista or Slippery Climb does. This is just frustrating. You know, it's not. I mean, that's what it is. It's just frustrating. There's nothing else that you can say past that. It is just frustrating. And you know, that's pretty much what it is. There's nothing really much else to say about that level other than that's what it is. I mean, it's anyone who says, oh, you know, well, this is the hardest level in the game, well, no, it's frustrating, not hard. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the trivia and all that, like I normally do at the end of a video. Let me see, was that the last? I'm trying to figure out if that was my 6th level or not. I will try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so yeah, I guess that yeah, that is 5. That's what I've been trying to do. 5 levels per video, and I think I've done an okay job at it. You know, definitely not the best, but well, I guess I have done 5 levels per video, except for I think it was part 2 or 3. I've done 6 because of Whole Hog, and I think that was part 2. But anyway, so I didn't have this kind of set up ahead of time. I guess I should have, but you know, I wasn't really thinking about it, so I'll go ahead and have it pulled up here. Okay, so we'll do the Brio boss fight first. Probably won't be too much on it, to be honest. Okay. Alright, so this is the for Crash 1. After getting past lab assistants through dark hallways and mini machinery, Crash is now facing the 5th boss of the game, Dr. N.Brio. He also has the biggest number of hit points, as he has 9. However, they go down quickly at the start. Brio is mixing green and red liquid together. Crash arrives near him. Brio raises his potions. Crash runs to the back of the room because Brio would smash them together, which explodes injuring Crash. After a quick mix, Brio will throw a green. When it smashes, a green blob will emerge. You need to jump on it, as spinning it would just send it across the room. Once Crash does one of Brio's hit points will go down. Next, Brio throws a red, which just explodes once it hits the ground. Then he'll throw 2 more greens, and you know, they're just explaining the process of the boss fight. Until then, Brio throws 6 reds. This time, he doesn't throw any green beakers. He drinks the red liquid, has a green face, and turns into a grouchy monster and starts pounding the floor, causing rubble to fall down from above, and starts heading to Crash. Crash can jump on the pieces and jump into Brio's head. Do this 3 times, and Brio falls over. The incident may be the cause of the fire that happens later. Alright, trivia. N.Brio was originally supposed to fight Crash alone in... Oh, that's for a different game. N.Brio had the most health in Crash Bandicoot. So yeah, I talked about that. So I guess I don't have any trivia for the Crash 1 boss fight. Only other boss fights in later games. Alright, so the lab enemies are Blob, electric pillars, and lab assistants, beaker throwing ones and the electric ones. Number of boxes are 24, the gym type's yellow, and there is a Tana bonus round. The lab is the 29th level and final full level in the original Crash Bandicoot. It is considered to be one of the hardest levels in the Crash Bandicoot series. Fully clearing the stage rewards the player with the yellow gem. This is the only level in the game to use the mechanic of exclamation crates as switches to temporarily unlock doors and other objects. This combined with the supercharged lab assistants and TNT crates hidden in the clusters of normal crates provides for a challenging platform challenge. There are also no mass crates in this level, so if Crash takes any damage, he will lose a life. Trivia: the level's name is a pun on the fact that this is Dr. Cortex's professional science laboratory. Well, see how that could be a pun, but you know. Anyway, so I'll talk about the Great Hall just because there are no enemies, there are no boxes. Level number 30. The Great Hall is a level of sorts in the original Crash Bandicoot. At first glance, it is not much of a level, with the exit accessible immediately upon entering the level. Its secret is revealed once the player has obtained every clear gem in the game. However, as they form a pathway to a secluded balcony, and by clearing the hall and reaching the platform, you will see Tawna sitting on a bird waiting for Crash. Then the two Bandicoots will ride the bird and fly out of Cortex Castle. Then the alternate ending begins by showing some of the things that I won't spoil here. When the player reaches the end where Tawna is waiting, you will notice that she's wearing her original. Well, I guess I'll talk about this once I get to the or once I beat it, because I'll have to talk about some of the other levels again anyway. So that's what I'll do. So I'll go ahead and talk for Cortex's boss fight. Cortex is the sixth and final boss in Crash Bandicoot, and he has 5 hit points. Crashes on top of Cortex's castle, flying around crashes on top of Cortex's airship, flying around Cortex's castle, which is on fire, possibly from the fights with N.Brio as he wrecks his office, and Pinstripe as he shoots the reactor set at it's supposed to be sunrise. They say sunset here. Cortex on his hoverboard flies over to Crash and says, "Darn you, Crash Bandicoot." Then, using his blaster, starts blasting small bubbles which come in pink that go towards Crash, blue that goes up, down, and across the bottom and top, and green which Crash can spin back at Cortex. Don't try to jump at him, as you'll go right through him. On the first round, Cortex will fire 2 pinks and 1 green, spin it back at him, and he'll take a hit point from him. Then on the second round, he'll fire a pink, a blue, another pink, 2 more blues, and 2 greens. Once you hit one of them, a large green will be above Cortex. Spin another green into it, and it'll land on Cortex. By this point, he'll just have 3 hit points. On the next round, you'll need 3 greens. He'll fire a pink, 2 blues, another pink, and a green. He'll now fire a pink, 3 blues, and a green. Add that to the giant green above Cortex, and he'll fire another green. Once 3 greens have been added to the giant green and land on Cortex, he'll now have 2 hit points. This time he'll just use pink and green. He'll fire fast rows of pinks and a single green at the end. Surprisingly, on this last hit point, Cortex will fire a single pitiful green, spin it at him, and his hoverboard will blow up, and he'll plummet down to the island. So, see if there's any. There is no trivia for it, so there you go. I guess I'll talk about, let's see, fumbling in the dark real quick. Enemies are rat, swinging blade, spider, and then the deadly spider, the one that is walking around on the ground instead of the one hanging from a web. Fumbling in the Dark is one of the 2 secret levels in Crash Bandicoot. This level is the 33rd and true final level in the game. Also can be considered the darkest level in the game, let alone in the series. It can only be entered once Crash wins the key in Jaws of Darkness. Fumbling in the Dark expands on the mechanics introduced in Lights Out. In this level, Crash sneaks his way through the darkened, eerie corridors of Cortex Castle. Because of the darkness, basically makes the passage he traverses pitch black, and the enemy is deadly, as only their red eyes can be seen, and he can't tell when to jump over pits. The Aku masks glow brightly, illuminating the level so Crash can navigate. Collecting the masks is the safest and only way to get through the level, meaning that if Crash does not find another mask quickly enough, then his current mask will start to dim, or if he's by an enemy, he'll be trapped in dark. Number of crates is 18. There's no trivia for it, so there you go. But anyway, yeah, so that's all the trivia for the levels that I've done and everything. So I thank you for watching. The challenge of the video is how many energy shots did Cortex shoot at me during the entire Cortex boss fight. Thank you for watching. Next part, I will go after all the gems that I have not gotten, and then I'll do the Great Hall and finish the game. So until then, later everyone.